Hi, I'm Craig Wolf, host of WGCU's production Hertz Road to Paradise, and we are pleased to be joined today by Rich Broome, who's the Executive Vice President of Corporate Affairs and Communications at Hertz. Rich, thanks for being here. Where do we start? How does it feel to be on this side of the road to paradise?
We're on way down the road to paradise, having made our announcement back in May of 2013 and continue to make steady progress towards being in our new corporate headquarters by the end of this year, 2015.
And we'll get to that in a few minutes. We've got some time today. And are we on track?
We're on track. We still expect to be in there by the end of the year, as we said when we got this project started.
In the course of producing our documentary program, we had spent some time out there at the construction site, and there is a lot going on.
Yes.
You're sort of a long-timer already here in some ways by Southwest Florida standards, where we have what we call a lot of short-timers. How long have you been here personally, and what are your impressions of Southwest Florida so far?
Well, I first started working down here in September of 2013, probably the advance guard for the company. And I've been living here full time since January of 2014, and I'm loving it. It's a great community filled with great people who are, really positive about the Hertz presence here and helping to support us in any way they can. So it's been great for me.
Yeah, and the company obviously moving its headquarters from New Jersey here. You had lived in New Jersey, and you said Connecticut for a good part of your working
years.
I
lived in New Jersey for 18 years. That's where my children were raised, and I grew up personally in northern Connecticut, just outside of Hartford. So. I don't miss the harsh winters anymore.
What's the temperature in New Jersey today?
It's probably about 20-25 degrees, so it's a big upside.
We have to ask you that. What about the number of hires? How many are here right now?
Just to give you a little background, we thought when we moved into the new building in Estero, we'd have about 150 employees, and we'd rapidly ramped up to about 700. But for a lot of different reasons, we accelerated the hiring process, and we now have over 530 employees working for Hertz in headquarters capacities here in Southwest Florida, split between Naples and Bonita Springs.
So you have still 170 to come?
About that,
to get to your, how's that transition been? I would imagine you haven't talked to every one of them individually, but generally speaking, how's the transition been for them? Because it is a big move to move from an urban metropolitan area in the Northeast to a more free kind of atmosphere here in Florida.
Well, first, it's about 100 to 125 of the northern New Jersey employees who've actually moved down here. Yeah, so we always projected about a third would make the move, and that's standing up.
Okay.
And the rest have been hired. A lot of local people have been hired, and then a lot of people from outside of the region, but outside of New Jersey, have also decided to relocate down here. So it's a nice mix of local New Jersey, some from Oklahoma, from Dollar Thrifty, and then some from everywhere else.
So just to do the math quickly, how many people would you say that are considered to be locals here in Southwest Florida have been hired to work for?
Probably about 200.
Yeah, that's a lot of jobs.
Yeah, it's a lot of jobs.
All right, there have been a lot of changes since the move has been announced. So let me we'll do like a lightning round here,
Sure.
and we'll run down some of them. There's a new CEO.
Yes, John Tague.
Tell us a little bit about him and why do we have a new CEO at Hertz?
Well, Mark Versora, our prior CEO, had great success over 7 years, but we probably lost a little momentum in 2014, and I think Mark also decided it was time to make a move. So, John Tague comes to us having many years of experience at a senior leadership level at United Airlines, and he's done a couple things since he was at United. But I think he's been brought on board to first get us back on track and then to get us to be great again. And we're hoping we can get that done pretty quickly.
Good. And moving down our list here, tell us about some of the financial issues, what some have called less than perfect or even sloppy accounting that have made some headlines over the past few months.
Yeah, starting at the end of 2013, we uncovered some issues within our financial.
Internally.
Yeah, we found them and started working with them. And at the same time, we were going through a leadership change in the finance area, and our new CFO, Tom Kennedy, came on board and recruited his team, and they've found a few more things. And we're trying to work through that financial review, and we're very hopeful we'll have that done this year for sure.
Okay. The company spun off Hertz, the rental equipment business. What was the driving force behind that?
Well, we're planning to do that. We can't complete that transaction until we've got this financial review done. But once we do, we hope to very quickly spin off Hertz and our equipment rental business and the car rental business. I think the investors felt that there was more value for investors to have them separated than being together.
And Hertz's presence will be in, is it Bonita Springs?
It's undecided.
Undecided.
That's not decided. We were looking at that option, but because we can't complete the spin that quickly. We just decided it didn't make sense to make that headquarters decision until we were closer to separation.
Let's talk a little bit about Carl Icahn, who is the mega investor. He's a familiar name to some people who don't even follow business news that closely. He sort of has a reputation of being an activist investor, and he has a 10% stake in the company right now. Is that correct?
Slightly more.
What has that participation meant, and what do you think it will mean down the road, having him be such a large shareholder? Because some of the companies that he's been involved with in the past, I'm thinking of TWA. I'm from the former corporate headquarters of TWA. Not always thought of as the most stellar participant as an investor in large companies. How do you see his participation?
Well, the practical implication is that 3 of our board members are now representatives of Mr. Icahn, and they're on our board and he's in our stock to see improved performance, to get a better return on investment. And I think he, like John Tague and the rest of us, see great upside potential for the company, and he's in there to realize the benefits of that progress.
And is he active enough to know about the company's move to Southwest Florida? Is that something that he takes the pulse of?
Our board, including Mr. Icahn, know about the move to Southwest Florida, and our CEO has repeated on numerous occasions that we're totally committed to completing the relocation process.
Okay. Europe's urban centers are a target of Hertz's expansion, correct?
That's correct. I mean, we've had a presence in Europe for decades, and we look at the potential growth there being in like in the U.S. in the off-airport market. So in the major urban centers, whether it's traditional car rental or even car sharing.
What is the state of the car rental business in general? How has it changed as the world has moved forward and people's habits have changed and travel habits? Have they pretty much stayed the same? Is it essentially the same business as it was decades and decades ago when it was founded?
No, it's not. I mean, you basically had a business that's grown up. First it was an airport business, then Enterprise came in and created a big off-airport presence. Then you have a number of brands which have consolidated. And then you have the emergence of the car sharing business like a Zipcar, or you have the Ubers who are matching cars and drivers. So the business has been transformed, but car rental at its core is a lot like some of these new technologies. It's really about collaborative consumption. I mean, there's a car sitting there and you might drive it one day, I might drive it the next. So really we kind of fit into this sort of new sharing economy.
Talk about Uber a little bit. I have not had personal experience with Uber. I know that there's no real presence down in this part of the world, but more specifically, how do you see them as either a competitor or some piece of the pie of people getting transported around?
I don't think any of us know what Uber's long-term plans are. They probably do. At this point, basically what they do and what they're very good at is matching up individuals to get into cars in urban areas specifically. And that's not really a core part of our business today. Where they go in the future, I don't know. And whether they're going to be partners of ours or competitors, time will tell.
What about change? I mean, obviously in any business, you can't stand still, and the business doesn't stand still either. How do you see the future of the rental car business?
Well, I think that we have a very bright future. We think there's always going to be demand for people to want to rent cars. They have needs, whether they're on business or whether they're driving on vacation or even in their own communities if they decide they don't want to buy that second car. So we think there's great long-term potential, but like the airline industry, for example, doing a lot more with automation, also looking at ways we can provide better service to our customers. We think there's great potential for this business to continue to evolve over the next several decades.
In a nutshell, how do you see Hertz impacting the local economy in a broad brushstroke?
Well, I think immediately we'll have eventually 700 employees who are Hertz employees here in Southwest Florida who weren't here. So I think that will have an immediate positive impact on the economy. We hope long-term the benefit is that other companies will look at our decision and come to a similar decision, and that we'll be a magnet for other major corporations to locate, if not their headquarters, but some other major part of their operations to this area.
Getting back to some of the issues that have followed the company around recently, in addition to some of the admittedly questionable accounting practices that you discovered internally, how do you keep your fleet young in your business? Do you have what would be called an aging fleet at Hertz?
We had been aging our fleet, and we're in the process now of de-aging the fleet.
How do you de-age your
Well,
fleet?
basically, you sell cars and buy cars. So
Right.
basically, we've rapidly accelerated the sales process of the cars, and we're rapidly bringing in more new cars so that the fleet is younger, so that you're more likely to get into a car that's got pretty low mileage than one that has a little bit higher mileage than we thought we'd be comfortable with.
Where are your employees going to go vacation? Are they getting the ones that were back in New Jersey? Are they going to head up there in the summertime?
I think
In
that
reverse?
it's all going to be in reverse. They're in paradise in the winter. They don't have
Yeah.
to deal with those winters, and I'm sure in the summer they'll head back up north once in a while.
We've got a couple of minutes left. What were the guts of the decision to move to Southwest Florida? I know Governor Scott, he's, I believe, up in Pennsylvania right now as we record today, pushing for companies, large companies, to move down here to Florida. What are the 3 or 4 ingredients that went into the decision to move Hertz here?
I would say three major ingredients. One, a very positive business environment. 2, huge travel and tourism industry. And then 3, just the incredible effort by the state of Florida and Lee County to bring us down here. Their just desire to have us come here, and their follow through on all of their commitments. So I would say those are the 3 major ingredients.
What were the other locations that the company was considering?
We looked at other areas of Florida, certainly. North Carolina we looked at. We looked at also Oklahoma as well as potentially staying in New Jersey. But Florida seemed to be the right place for us, and Southwest Florida specifically.
Okay, we'll end on that. Rich Broome, Executive Vice
Great talking,
President,
Craig.
Corporate Affairs and Communications at Hertz. I'm Craig Wolf, WGCU TV. We will be following the progress of Hertz relocation out of Southwest Florida over the next 12 months.